Okay, guys. So far we discussed about Linux till last session. Like we discussed about Linux commands. Okay, good. We discussed something and all fine. I have only one question. Before now, we are going to start shell scripting. But before going to shell scripting and discuss about that, I just have one question based on your intelligence. You tell me. So far, at a time, while clicking, before clicking, hitting error, how many commands we executed at a time? How many commands? So far, how many commands we executed at a time?
Only one command will execute.
Only one command, and that too if you use grep, pipe symbol, like grep or some other second command we use, right? Pipe symbol, 2, 3 like that. But that is in the sequence, but the output of first command will be given as input to second command like that. Okay, fine. I want to execute 10 commands in a sequential order, but not like the output of first command will be input of second command, not like that. Is it possible? But using AWK and all, we can do that, but not exactly. So why we want to go to shell scripting is there is other purpose, but in short, like for easy thing is like, if I want to execute sequence of commands in a order, right, then I can use shell scripting. Then what is shell scripting? A group of commands, Linux commands, right? I'll keep like 5 to 10 commands in a file and execute it and run that file. So what will happen? That file has 5 to 10 commands, right? From top to bottom, one by one will be executed. Okay, fine. So that's it. That is shell scripting. Okay, shall we go to Git and GitHub? What, guys? Shall we go to Git and GitHub? That is the end of shell scripting. Or else you want to discuss something about shell scripting? Respond at least. I don't want to make bored you people. So hello, I'm making it as interactive. Hello, are you there?
Yes, sir.
So you want to discuss? You want the discussion about shell scripting, or else shall we go to Git and GitHub?
No, we want to discuss.
We can go to GitHub, sir. I have already attended.
That you attended in previous batch. You don't know about, you missed the GitHub classes, so you want to go to Git directly. Okay. Go ahead. Okay, let me discuss about this. See, that's fine. Shell script, I want to keep it in a in a file, a group of commands I'll write, I'll add, and then I'll execute from top to bottom. Fine. Then when I'm executing from top to bottom, everything will get executed, but I need to learn some basics about shell scripting. And also, like, I want to do some looping statements. Like I want to repeat something for loop like that. I want to write a condition, means 5 commands without condition execute, but 6 to 10 commands has to be executed some condition, like if a greater than 10, then only that execute. Such things and all, we can do some manipulation. So many things we can do here. So for that, we have to learn shell scripting. We cannot skip it as such. Okay, sir. If you remember at the starting of my classes, like who attended demo or like in the starting of Linux class like that, I said, when I discussed about DevOps, I said, DevOps is an automation where we are going to automate the daily activities of developers plus operation team, DevOps, development team, operation team, right? Where when we automate the daily activities of developers per operation teams, that is called DevOps, like that I said. And also I said one more point, that is, in DevOps is not a programming language. DevOps is not a scripting. It is just a process using different tools, I said. It's a process using different tools, automation process using different tools. Sir, you said it's not a programming language, scripting language, then why we are learning shell scripting? You may get a question. See, DevOps is automation process. You use different tools to automate. But what if you want to take some backups or some requirement you have, but for that purpose, there is no tool available in the market. Okay, there is no tool. You want to take backups, something like Nexus or something, which will take backups. You don't have a tool in the market. Then what should you do? You have to write your own scripting. If there is no tool, you have to write your own scripting for such cases, and for small deployment purpose, that purpose, like that, we have to write the scripting. And also recently one guy gave one interview. For him, they asked about shell scripting. At the end, he asked an interview question seems like nowadays everyone is using tools. You want to easy the jobs, right? When they ask some questions, and they at the final round they explained him like this is a project like this and that. He said, for all of your purposes, there are tools available in the market. Then why you are using shell scripting? He asked like that. What his answer is, we already implemented a lot of scripts. We already implemented for a lot of the functionality. We are already using shell scripting. Now we are continuing with that. There is a hell lot of job if you want to migrate it to tools and all. They said we are comfortable with that. It is already running application, right? We want to go with it. If you change something to tools, you may get issues again. We have to solve this and all. It is running. So if you get any requirements, small changes we have to do. So that is the reason we asked use shell scripting. If you are aware of shell scripting, that will be good for us like that. So shell scripting is mandatory, at least nowadays. Okay. Any scripting, if you know Python scripting, DevOps is a never ending learning process. They'll ask Python. If you learn Python, they'll ask, how do you know PowerShell, like that, right? But whatever we know, we have to grab that job, go there, and there we have to learn if we need something else. Okay. Fine. Okay, that is a big history. Leave it. Come back to our shell scripting. So, okay, I want to create a shell scripting file. Okay. So yesterday itself, I said about shell, something, shell and all we discussed, right? Okay, we'll discuss in detail about that. I want to create a file. I want to create a shell scripting file. In Linux, is there any mandate rule that a file should have extension? No. We can create files without extension. If I create a file without extension, by default, shell script will treat it as, Linux will treat it as a shell script file. The extension for a shell script file is .sh. When you are creating a script, right, shell scripting file, the extension of the file should be like this. Touch my first .sh. All right, my script.sh. If we don't specify the extension as .sh, by default, if you just create a file called as myscript.sh, by default, Linux will treat that as a .sh file. If you don't specify extension, by default, it will treat this file don't have extension. So let me consider it as a .sh extension. So it will treat that file as a shell script file. But it is always recommended to maintain the extension. And especially for shell script files, it is required to maintain that extension as .sh. Okay. So now I'm creating a sh file. Vi.
If you mention .sh, it will consider as a shell script file, right?
Even if you don't mention, also it will consider a .sh. That is what I was saying.
Okay.
Mandatory. If you sh shell script file, if you don't give any extension, also it will try to treat it just as a shell script file. Okay.
Here, initially we are given a test DAR. It will also consider as a shell script file.
Test DAR is a directory. It is not a file. Okay. C, I have a file. CC is a file, right? It will think these are shell script files because they don't have any extension. Those are files. Okay. My VI, I'm going to open that. I want to write my first script. Echo. I'll write with echoes. First line. Okay. Echo. Second line. Third line. So I have this file. This is my file. This is my file content. I want to run this as a shell script. There are different ways to run your shell script, but let me run like this for now. I'll tell you the ways. For now, I'm running this. Is it printing that 3 echoes in a order from top to bottom? Is it printing? Okay, right? That's it. Shell script will execute from top to bottom, but we'll not write always echoes. We'll do something. We'll learn that. Okay, next what I'm going to do is, first, before learning the topics of shell scripting, first let's learn the basics. Then we will think of the other topics. here I'm going to, how many spaces, how many lines are, okay, so I have 3 lines. I'm giving one, I'm not using this line, right? So what I do is here the 4th line here is there, right? I'll miss echo. He is not there, right? Now see this, what it is saying. Let me cat that way. How many lines are there here? 4. See, even in shell scripting, if you skip any line like this empty, that is also a line. If you go in Java and all, same, wherever it is line, it will read, right? So it is also saying this first line it is printed, second line it printed, third line nothing is there to do, nothing is there. See, ignore. But 4th line echo command not found. It is giving command not found. It is saying error inside the file. The error will be like this: file name myScript.sh, line number 4. This is causing the issue. That error is command not found. Saying by seeing that itself, you can understand what is the error. Okay, fine. So if you get error, you can. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is let me keep this as it is. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write 4th line. Let's go. 4th line, right? Escape. I'm saving this. Cat. This is a file. Okay. I want to execute it. So what I'm going to do is, let me expand this. Bash. My first file. This one I'm executing. Type this. See, where is the error? This is my script. What is the line number where the error is there? 3rd line. So I said shell scripting is it scripting? It's not object oriented or something like Java and all. It is very easy. The execution started from top. First line done. Second line done. 3rd line it came. There is an error. It printed, but did it stop at that? Wherever there is an error, did it stop that place? No. It continued with execution of the next lines. This is one of the important thing you have to remember in shell scripting. If it is like a Java programming or something, if you get any error, it will stop there, like in other programming language. But in shell scripting, if there is an error at one particular line, shell scripting will throw error at that and it will not terminate that execution. It will just throw error and it will continue executing the next lines. Understood, guys? Those who are online.
Yes.
Okay. Next, while writing a shell scripting, the first line always should be shebang line. What is that? Is slash bash. This line is not mandatory. This is optional line, but recommended to use. The first line always should be shebang line. What is this shebang line? I'll tell you in a moment. This is called as a shebang line. This should be as a first line. Sir, can I write this first echo and then can I write the shebang line? No. If you write it as a second line or third line, it will not be considered as a shebang line. So there is some special meaning for this shebang line. What is this? Yesterday I said there are different shells available in your machine, Linux machine, like bin shell, bash shell, T shell, K shell, like that, con shell. There are different shells available. Okay. Now, when you are executing a script, what is the default shell? Means whenever you execute a Linux command, shell script is also a group of Linux commands. Right? What is the default shell you will be used? Bash shell. Now, if I have set some other shell, like I'm changing my shell's default shell, something like that, but I want to run my shell always with the bash shell. I want to run my script with the bash shell always. So that is the reason, whatever the shell we want to use, that shell we have to use as a shebang line. So this is a path of our bin bash shell. So our bash shell is present inside a bin/bash directory. So that is the reason we are going to specify that as a shebang line. So always we use shebang line for the bash shell. If you want to use some other shell also, like I don't want bash shell, I want to use k shell. So you can give the path of the k shell here. So all the commands present inside that script will be executed with this shell. Okay, fine. So this shebang line should be first. Okay. Next, let me explain. So this is shell. What is shell? Yesterday I explained, right? What is shell? Shell is a small program which will run in the background, which will act as a mediator between the terminal and the OS. So whatever the commands we execute in the terminal, it will carry to the OS, perform the action, get back the result, and show on the terminal, right? Okay. Next. Types of shells. There are different types of shells like SH, K shell, bash shell. What is the default shell? I said bash shell. Okay. Next, I want to see what are all the shells supported by my machine. There are different shells, but my machine may not support all the shells. If I want to see that what shells it supports, right here, there is. Sorry. /etc/ shells is a command. Type this. See, my system can support set shell, bash shell, one more bash shell, this one, P shell, C shell, like this. It is support. It is showing all the shells. Now I want to change my bash shell to sh shell. What should I do? Yesterday I said, right, echo $shell. One variable is there. So it is pointing to this shell. This is a variable. This is pointing to which shell? bin/bash. Hence, this is going to be my default. Now, if I change the value of this shell to this one, then it will use sh. How to change the value of environmental variable is export. Export is a command where we'll create environmental variables and also modify them. I'm going to modify this shell equal to this. If I execute this, right, my shell is an environmental variable. Its value has been modified now. See, export is a command to create a variable and also modify the variable value. This shell, if the shell variable is there, this export command will modify its value. If it is not there, it will create the variable and set its value. Now, if I type shell, it is pointing to this bin/sh shell. Now, whatever the commands I execute with that, so those commands will be executed by what shell? sh shell, because I changed the default shell. I don't want that. I want to keep it as a bash shell only. Okay, change the value. Now, if I type a question, it has been changed to bin/bash. So all the commands, whatever we use, will be executed with bash. So always use bash shell only. That is what I use. Okay. Next. Now, this using that shell command, I'm changing my default shell permanently. I don't want to do that. I just want to change it temporarily. Just to type that shell name. See, it came here. It came here. Means it from bash shell into sh shell. It came. You can type some commands. Execute it with. See, if I tell with sh shell, it is not giving the color. I want to come back to bash default one again. Type exit. It will come back here. So if you want to change the shell permanently, change that shell environmental variable. If you want to change it to temporarily, just type the shell name. It will get into that shell. Perform that action, exit, it will come back to normal shell. Okay, default shell, it will come back. Next, just now I explained, right, about shebang line, right, shell scripting name, right. Next, when you are performing that shell scripting, right, it should have execute permissions. If you want to run your file as a shell script file, it should have execute permissions on that. Okay, so how to set the execute permissions? chmod x plus x means it will add for all the users, it will add execute permissions. Okay, next. These are the ways to run a shell script file. Bash file name, sh file name means you are running this file with a bash shell. You are running this file name with sh shell. Okay, if you want to specify explicitly, I want to run this file, even though you have given bash shell, right? Inside that shebang, right? I want to execute this file with sh. So sh file name if you give, it will execute with the sh. Now, if this is another way, /file name or else file name also you can give. So in such cases, you are not giving a shell name, right? Which shell it has to use. So shebang line it will use. Okay. That shebang line, whatever you have specified, based on that it will use. And naming convention from schooling, sorry, not from schooling, some colleges onwards, you are learning naming conventions, right? What will be the name of the file, shell script file? The maximum length we should give, it is recommended for a shell script file is 255 characters. Don't give more than that. Okay, it will take, but it is not recommended. But we have to give as much as less meaningful name, but not like a big text. I am writing this script on this date for this purpose .sh. If you create, right, it will be very hard. Just create. What is the meaning with that? Some proper meaningful name. And shell scripting file can have alphabets and names. Just a second, guys. I'm getting a call. Hello. Okay. See this one, right? The file name can have alphabets, digits, dots, underscores. Okay, if you have like my file dot my script .sh. So my script, right? You can differentiate with underscores. Okay. Now a file name always should begin with lowercase letter. My file, right? M small case. My file, F capital. First word should start with, if a file has two words, first word should start with small case and second word should start with capital. My file, MY, F capital, right? Everything is small like that. Okay. System reserve, we cannot use like commands are there, right? ls command, ls.sh we should not create because that is a command. You cannot, ls is a command. There will be a script for that ls inside bin directory. So you cannot create another file with ls.sh like that and all, right? As I said, if it is multiple words, each word should begin with, first word should begin with small case and second word, right? My first file, my first F capital, other small, again file, my first file, right? F capital, file, FILE, right? Like that we have to use. Extension should be .sh, but it's not mandatory, but it is recommended. These are the naming convention we use. Next, we discussed about test, right? Next, let me discuss about one more thing. This is my file. If I run this file, all 4 lines will be executed. But for now, what I want to do is I don't want to allow the second line and third lines to be executed. So I'm commenting those. Okay. So how many lines are getting executed? 2 lines. First and last line. Why the second and third lines are not getting executed? Because I commented them. So this is how we comment a line. This is how we comment a line hash, right? So what happens when we comment this line is whatever the lines you have commented, those will not participate in the execution. Means those will not be executed. Those will not participate in the execution. So shell scripting, when you execute Linux will come to this line, it will read that shebang, it will execute this line with that bash script. It will come here. Oh, this line is commented. So let me not execute this, skip to next line. Oh, this also commented. Let me skip to the next line. Okay, this is not commented. Let me execute this like this. Next, understood how we can comment? Harnath, are you getting? You have to respond. Okay, if you don't respond, I will not allow you for the next class. That is serious. I'm serious. You ask my previous students, those who are coming for backups. If you don't respond, even if you have paid fee, I will not allow. You have to drop in the middle. That's it. Even if you fight, whatever you do, I will not return the amount, but you have to skip the classes. Because for yourself only I'm teaching. If you don't respond, what is the use? Okay. Okay.
No.
Now he'll respond. See, Harnath, you're able to understand what I'm teaching.
So listening class.
Okay, but you are able to understand or not?
Understanding.
Okay, what I said, what will happen to these lines? Sorry?
Sir.
Yeah. If you comment these two lines, what will happen?
No, sir.
Huh? You just joined, kept it on, and went and doing some weird mobile games and all. Huh? Okay, go on mute. It's time waste. You should concentrate. You said like you are not, you don't know the basics of anything. So in such case, you have to concentrate. You have to ask. I appreciate Kavya and Tejeshwar. They keep asking questions. It's good. So even it will be like encouragement for me. Yeah, these people are listening. So my efforts are not going waste. So I'll try to explain more. Okay. If it is boring, if you don't respond anything, if you don't answer, I'll lose interest and keep going. You give money, so I'll teach like that. I'll teach. That's it. No interest, nothing. Okay, fine here. So these two will not be executed. If I comment any line, it will not execute in the participate in the execution. Fine. But why should I comment? Why can't I remove these lines? Why I have to comment? Right? Yes. If I see here, it is simple echoes, but in real time, we may write some script, some like for loop or something, if condition I wrote. If I remove it, later you want that. Later you want that. Maybe after a week or 10 days, I want to write. If you remove it, again after 10 days, you have to write it. Again, you have to write it. By the time you may forget the logic or the requirement, why I commented, why I removed, why I have to add it back. You will forget it. So that is the reason. If something you want to use it in future, for now you don't want to, for now you don't want to use it. So in such cases, you can comment that and use it. Next thing, you have read some big script. You have written a for loop or if condition, something you wrote. If you write a script today and after a month you come back and look at that script, will you be able to understand that? If we don't, we'll forget everything. Why? Yesterday what we did only we'll forget. In yesterday class, what we listened only we are forgetting. Can we remember what we have wrote in 10 days or 1 month ago? No way. Or else if some other guy comes and look at the script, will you able to understand? No. So we can write some explanation with the comments. So for example, I'm writing a for loop. Above that for loop, I'll write a comment, right? It's saying below for loop is for filter the files which are modified within last 30 minutes and delete. Like that, if I write it, okay, this for loop, you no need to read and understand. Okay, by seeing the comment itself, okay, this is the purpose I wrote it. Now, if you check into that for loop also, you can easily understand, right? So one is for reusability. If you want to comment, if you don't want to use temporarily and want to use after a few days, you can comment those lines. And second, if you want to write some explanation, right, then also you can use, because that external, you can keep it in a commented line so that they'll not participate in the execution. Then you can just use it for a reference. Understood, guys? What, Harinath, have you understood? Kavya, Tejeshwar, Harnath,
Yes, sir.
Harnath, he's itself dropped. Again, he's joining. Okay, that's good. Okay, Chetan, everyone is able to understand, guys? From today, each and every class is important. Okay. See, in DevOps, who knows? You might have missed today's class. They may ask interview question from today's topic only. You are not able to answer this, then they'll think, okay, this guy don't know the basics itself. Why should I ask the advanced thing? Done. Yeah, each and every class is important, guys. Okay, fine. Next, that is a comment. Now, I have this file. I want to comment 2 lines. Okay, I can use this. But what if I want to comment 20 lines? For each and every line, you have to write like this, right? In shell scripting, there are 2 types of comments. Single line comments, the other one is multi-line comments. So what are those?
We can give starting onwards, we can slash star and end of the line also.
Wait. Yeah, yes. Wait, I'll tell that. So this is a single line comment. Good. This is a single line comment. So when you comment this entire line will be commented. But I want to comment multiple lines at a time. Okay, that's good. Whatever you said is correct. But let me explain it to others as well. Okay, I'm opening this. So I want to comment all the lines. For example, like this I have wrote. For example, I wrote like this: A, B, something, C. All these I want to comment. Right? I don't want to write like this. Hash for this line, hash for this line. I don't want, because that is single line. If there are 20, 30 lines, all I have to comment. So what I can do is I can use multi-line comments. What are those is, start with this symbol, give any name, for example, comment. Any name, no problem. It no need to be your name. See, you no need to give. You no need to give a name. You can give any name. This can be. Okay, you can give any name here, right? Not only comment. You can give ABC also, no problem. But this indicates the starting of the comment. This indicates the starting of the comment. But when you have to end it is here. Comment.
That must be in caps only, or it must be in lower case?
I'm coming to this point. It should be caps or small case, anything, but it is recommended to keep it in caps. But whatever you give here, the same thing should be here. The same thing should be here. Okay. Okay, whatever you have given here, the same thing should be given here as well. Understood, guys? Okay. So now this is a starting of multi-line comment. This is ending of the multi-line comment. So whatever you have written in between this, those commands will not execute in the participate in the execution. So if I'm writing this, it is okay. Dash, sorry, spelling mistake. Okay, is it executing these lines from here to here? No, right? So it is just executing first line, last line. That's it. Now here, this is the starting of the comment. This is ending of the command. So if you give ABC here, right, it will not accept. Why? Because here you have used the starting of the command, you mentioned like this, right? Here also you have to use. So if you want to use ABC, you can use ABC here. Okay, same thing, starting of multi-line command, ending. So if I want to use small case, you can use, but it is recommended always to use capital letters, so you can easily identify that it is a comment starting. Here also you have to use the same thing. Whatever you use there, you have to use it here. Understood, guys? This also works. So this is about single line and multi-line comments. Okay, that's it for today. Do you have any questions before stopping? We'll meet tomorrow. Okay.